Today we're making masks inspired by sugar skulls. The Mexican holiday Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead, is a celebration of the lives of those who have died. People throw big parties where they dress up and dance. They also make altars, or ofrendas, honoring their dead loved ones. One thing you might find on an ofrenda is a sugar skull. Sugar skulls are decorated with bright colors. Color reflects life, and Dia de los Muertos is a celebration of life. You will have a 9x12 piece of paper, pencils and erasers, and the first thing you should do is write your name on the back of the paper. Now you will continue using the pencils and erasers, but I am going to use a Sharpie because it shows up better on camera and you'll be able to see better. So start out by drawing your skull nice and big on the whole piece of paper. We don't want to have a dinky little skull in the middle of this big piece of paper and then waste a bunch of paper when you cut it out. So make it nice and big. I'll do a simple skull shape here. I'm going to start out by drawing an arcing line, kind of like I'm drawing a rainbow. Curved line, nice and big on the paper. And then I'm going to draw the cheekbones of the skull. They kind of stick out. So they're going to be curved lines that kind of look like ears, but they're the cheekbones. I'm going to bring them in just a little bit more, I think. Just like that. And then you're going to connect the two cheekbones with another curved line, curving up like a smile. That's the chin of the skull. There's a basic skull shape. Now skulls have great big eye holes, so I'm going to draw two nice big circles where the eyes go. A skull's nose hole looks like an upside down heart. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw an upside down heart here. If you have trouble drawing an upside down heart, but you can draw a regular heart just fine, just turn your paper upside down, draw a regular heart. Your skull can have any kind of mouth you want. I'm going to make my mouth smiling, but if you want to make your skull frowning or grimacing or something, go ahead. And I'll give it some nice big teeth. Alright, here comes the fun part. Now you get to decorate your skull with patterns inspired by Mexican sugar skulls. I'm taking inspiration from a lot of the natural patterns on sugar skulls. Flowers and plants represent life, so my skull is going to be full of life with leaves and flowers, even a leaf mustache. I'm even doing a flower on top of its head there. I'll do a little heart pattern down by the mouth. Now it's time to color your skull with markers. You're going to have regular markers and some neon Sharpies. Really exciting. But the neon Sharpies are only for coloring small parts of your sugar skull. So for example, I will use this orange neon Sharpie to color the little tiny inside of my flower. If you color anything bigger with the neon Sharpie, it's going to run out real quick. So it's only for small parts. Regular markers are for the bigger parts. Color your skull with lots and lots of bright colors. Remember, color represents life, and Dia de los Muertos is a celebration of life. Notice I'm kind of making my skull symmetrical. It looks the same on both sides if you divide the face in half. Your skull doesn't have to be symmetrical, but it looks pretty good when it is. A good tip to coloring with markers is putting the cap on the back of the marker while you're using it so that you don't lose the cap. And yep, I'm giving my skull rainbow teeth. And when you're done coloring your skull, you will cut it out. That's why it's so important to make a nice big skull, because if it were small, we'd be wasting a lot of paper when we cut it out. So here, I'm wasting minimal paper because my skull was pretty big. When you finished cutting out your skull, your paper scraps will go into the recycling bin. Then Mrs. Celeste will come around and she will give you a popsicle stick and 2 pieces of masking tape. You will flip your skull around, place the popsicle stick near the bottom, and secure it on with the 2 pieces of masking tape. Now it is a mask.